Missouri at Georgia. Georgia minus 16? Missouri's a top 15 football team. We're giving Georgia 16? All right, 3:30 Eastern, CBS. Georgia, I mean, a lot of the, oh, they don't look right. Oh, Georgia, maybe they're not last year's Georgia. What's Carson Beck? Well, now they don't have Brock Bowers. A lot of talking. And then last week, you noticed in Jacksonville, there was a lot of just radio silence from the Georgia ops. Georgia feels like they're kind of catching their stride, almost in runaway train mode. They are machine-like in every sense of the word right now. They are marching towards the SEC title, marching towards the college football playoff. College football playoff rankings released, if you're watching this live tonight, Tuesday night, happy Halloween, this would be a big resume booster for Georgia if they can beat Missouri. So it's a big if, because Missouri, they're going to bring the juice offensively. Georgia's going to get all the headlines, and they should by nature of what they've done to this point in the season and how they played against Florida. But for Missouri, man, it still feels like they're being overlooked just a little bit. Like if I'm Missouri, I'm saying, hey, we only have one loss. Y'all know that, right? We have one loss in the final seconds to LSU. We're being overlooked just a little bit. Well, David was also overlooked before he slayed Goliath. And remember now, Georgia went to Missouri last season with Stetson Bennett and company, and they had their issues. They had to come back late in that game to end up winning this football game. So we'll talk about it right now. Anytime you get a spread like this, anytime you get a 2-touchdown spread on this show, we have what we call non-negotiables for the team that is against that spread to win the football game. And the non-negotiables for me with Missouri, you have got to find a way to impact Carson Beck. Like Missouri, they have an 8.6% sack rate. They're going to try and pressure him a little bit. But the key to me in this one, yes, the defensive line is going to be crucial. I don't know that you really love where you stand trying to rush the passer against this Georgia offensive line. If you get home, you get home. More power to you. But the key thing for disrupting Carson Beck, I don't think it has to be sacking him consistently with applying pressure. I think it comes to what these DBs do on the outside. Because you watch Missouri's secondary, y'all, they are physical. They want to get hands-on. They want to bump you. They want to throw you off your route. They want to try and get in your grill consistently. And so anytime you're able to play physical with a wide receiving core, and the refs will have something to do with this now, how much they hold the flag or don't throw the flag, rather, will be an impact here. But if you can disrupt the timing of a play, meaning I think that Dominic Lovett is going to be at 10 yards when I hit my third step, and instead he's still trying to fight through contact at 8. He's not yet out of his break. Like I have to hold that football a little bit longer, get a little bit antsy. Maybe I look to my other read. Like disrupting the timing of a play for Missouri could end up being crucial. And I think it's really probably plan A when it comes to trying to slow down this Georgia offense because they've been rolling right now. Super efficient on third down. Carson Beck has been a surgeon in every sense of the word. Even without Brock Bowers, they have been rolling. And we'll talk more about that here in a second when it comes to Brock Bowers. But the thing is, if it works and you mess up the timing, great. You give yourself a chance. You give your offense, you give Luther Burden a chance to really impact this game. Now, if it doesn't work, if you try and get physical and you can't handle these Georgia pass catchers, or you kind of get caught lacking across the board and then there's somebody who doesn't win their matchup on that play, if you swing and miss trying to play physical in the secondary, usually there's a lot of real estate behind you, which makes for Carson Beck to have a pretty nice window to throw to, and big plays happen. Like translation, if this doesn't work, you get gashed. High risk, high reward, got to risk it for the biscuit. We talk about it a lot with Georgia, but if you swing and miss in this situation and you're a Missouri defender, pretty good chance you check social media after the game and you're going to end up in a Coach 30 video. You don't want to have that happen if you're Missouri. Now, another thing to watch in this game, when Georgia's on defense, what is Missouri's effectiveness in scheming guys open? We talked about it here Sunday morning. We talked about it here yesterday, actually. Like, I think Georgia, straight up, the best matchup team in all of college football. Like, if you want to play mano-a-mano, our guys versus your guys, I think there's a matchup every single team in the country that I would take Georgia over. Maybe the one you look at is Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. Like, that's probably the one where you say, maybe that doesn't favor Georgia. Outside of that, I think all of them favor Georgia. So for Missouri, one thing they do exceptionally well, and they'll have to do exceptionally well in this game, is finding ways to create plays in space for Luther Burden. He is your best player. Period. Mic drop. The end. If you want to beat the best team in the country, in the Georgia Bulldogs, you have to find a way to allow him to have the most potential impact on this game as possible. So that could look like crossing routes. They do a lot with play action and sneaking a guy out to the sideline. We've seen Luther Burden be that guy for them multiple times on a wheel route. Like, however it looks, you have to find a way to confuse Georgia in the secondary and give them a little bit of a, oh, hey, we got to sort this out kind of feel. And Luther Burden gets rolling and has some big plays coming his way. That has to be the way that Missouri operates offensively. Because if you can do that, then you kind of put some pressure on Georgia's score. Then you kind of make it a little bit more of a keep pace kind of game, potentially. Potentially is a word used a lot here. Kind of a theme you're going to see here when it comes to these game breakdowns. Other part of this, though, if you can't do that, you take away your fastball. Like, if you can't consistently feed Luther Burden, I don't know that I love anybody else on this Missouri offense to be the guy that steps up and, like, beats Georgia for you. Maybe Theo Weiss Jr. is a guy on the outside for Missouri. Missouri's had some success running the football at different points this year, but I don't think you're going to run the football against Georgia, and that's kind of the big thing for me. Like, I think Georgia, at the end of the day, is going to be able to remove the balance from Missouri in their offensive attack. And Missouri, I mean, they're right around 50-50 run to pass. And when I say remove balance, I'm not just talking about what they're doing defensively as the Georgia Bulldogs. Like, Georgia, what they do right now offensively, I think they're going to apply pressure to Missouri to keep up with them when they score. And kind of the thing within this is whenever Brock Bowers was in the lineup for Georgia, it was very clear. It was very, very clear who you had to game plan for. It was like, hey, number 19's going to get the ball a lot. He's the one they want to get the rock to. We got to keep an eye on him. We got to make sure that we have him addressed first, second, and third priority. But now without Brock Bowers in the lineup, there's just a bunch of really good playmakers across the board. Ladd McConkey, Dominic Lovett. We saw Oscar Delp step up. Like, I think there's a little bit more of a, hey, who's it going to be kind of feel whenever you play Georgia now defensively. And I think Florida saw that firsthand. So whenever they force Missouri to match scores, you can't just run the football if you're down by 10 in the third quarter. You kind of got to figure out a little bit of a keep pace factor with that offense. So again, takes away the balance of being able to run the football. You got to throw the football. And the other part of this, when it comes to the Georgia defense, like, I don't think they can run the football to begin with. And that's not to disrespect Missouri. I think it's more so a testament to the front seven that Georgia has rounded into at this point in the year. They look like a Kirby Smart front seven. Take away the 48-yard run that Florida popped off in that game last week, and Florida averages 2.5 yards carry. That's kind of been the same thing the last 3 games for Georgia. Like, they're not allowing more than 3 yards of carry typically. Again, that wasn't what it came out to because they popped that 48-yard run. But I'm saying overall, if you're taking the median data points, that's kind of the level Georgia's playing at right now. So again, when Missouri has to throw the football and Georgia knows they have to throw the football, I think that could mean some bad things for them. Now, is it they wreak havoc in the backfield and they're forcing multiple sacks like they did against Florida? It could be. But overall, just Georgia knowing that you have to throw the football to beat them, I don't think that bodes well for Missouri. So I think Georgia, like we talked about a little bit earlier in the segment, I think they're a runaway train. I think Carson Beck is humming. I think he has another huge performance in this game and keeps trending towards Heisman Trophy, candidacy, if you will. I think Georgia wins this game. Final score 41-23. So we like Georgia to win. We like Georgia to cover. And I think Georgia, once again, catching their stride at the exact right time. Surprise, surprise. Kirby Smart and company playing their best football in November. Who would have thought? And like I said, it's a little bit of a resume boost here for the Dogs as well as they beat a top 15 team. I think they do it in convincing fashion. Want to tell you all about Roback. Now, here's the deal now. If you walked outside today, depending on what part of the country you're living in here in Nashville, it was frosty windshield season. A little crisp. See the breath in the air, like, okay now, we're going to have to put a little bit more layers on. Roback has got you taken care of. Now, y'all know I love Roback. I wear them all the time. They have the best polos on the market. Also, best hoodies on the market. If you need a polo to last you the entire day on a game day, or you need a hoodie to be ready for a little tailgate season as you're outside, maybe you're in Big Ten country, maybe it's getting crispy in SEC country too. It doesn't matter where you are. Getting a little bit colder, Roback has got you covered. Great joggers, great polos for game day as well, great hoodies, performance crew necks. As we move into crispy season, frosted windshield season, Roback is going to take care of you. Also, they have been proudly leading the NIL charge. They've signed partnerships with college stars Cade Klubnik, Kyle McCord, Nick Singleton, Jalen Milroe, Audric Estime. They've also teamed up with the legendary Coach O. So use the code JD, just those 2 letters, no periods, just J and D, on Roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off, again, all performance polos, joggers, shorts, hoodies, performance crew necks, just use that code. They'll take care of you. We appreciate them for doing so. Just in time here for crispy season and college football season. Check them out at roback.com. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.